What is topic?
Hello and welcome to Pirate Radio. Yes, we are all pirates here, guys. That doesn't mean that that we discriminate against what other people believe, right? At the same time, we try to make peace and we try to make this world a better place. However, we do that. We all have our fortes, right? We all do it through different means. Abbo, I don't know if you're Italian. I like the name though. It's a very nice, but you're gonna have to mute yourself. And so today we got a monthly update. So, sorry guys, I double booked. My bad. But we have a guest here that we've been trying to get. I've been trying to get on a new game coming out, and it looks very exciting. I wish I listened to Matt when he told me about it 2 years ago, but unfortunately I was busy with Pirate. But we move on. There's nothing missed here, guys. Every single blockchain right now is in its early stages, everything. So you haven't missed anything, including Bitcoin. Everything is still early. You guys think you're too late, but you're not. There's wait 5 years and you'll see, oh man, you'll be like, oh man, I wish I got in 5 years ago. So no matter what you're looking at, blockchain is early, guys. It's an early technology, a lot of new stuff coming out. And, we learn. It's a learning process, so make sure you learn the right way and don't believe everything you hear. And we got Drake. What's up, my man? Been a long time.
What's going on, bro?
Chilling. Like a villain.
Yeah, been sick for the past few weeks with fucking COVID and shit, so not fun.
You got the COVIDs, bro?
Yeah, finally, after, the 2-3 years, however long it's been fucking out.
You popped your cherry.
Not a fun cherry to pop, I'll tell you that.
That's all right, man. You're immune now. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. So what's up? What's up? We got some monthly updates, bro. We got some good pirate updates this week.
Yeah, there's not too much going on this month. Specifically because I've been working on a bunch of different things over the past several months, including the wallet updates, the hardware wallet, obviously from Mulroy, Barter from Quartermaster, and things like that. So um, there's a few things that I want to update people on, but aside from that, it's going to be pretty much short today, just because, like I said, not too much going on. Plus, you have Splinterlands on today, so that'll be good
All
for
right.
people to listen to as well. So,
Nice,
in
man.
terms of
Quality.
updates,
Quality over quantity, right?
exactly. In terms of updates, the Pirate Lottery is in testing right now. So, on the piratelife.casino website, it'll be added soon to the playable games. So, just like you would in real life, you play the lottery, you pick however many numbers. In this lottery, you pick 3 numbers. So, the odds are a lot better than obviously real life. And the winner is determined after, I think, a week. So, it's a weekly lottery. We may end up changing it to a shorter time period, just depends. Just on community feedback and various other things like that. But it's a weekly draw where users can win, like I said, the pot of R that's in there, or even if you hit a couple numbers, still get some R out of it as well. And it's relatively cheap as well to actually buy a ticket. I think it's like 1 R.
All you need is a
So
dollar and a dream.
exactly. And what ends up happening is if there's no winners in that given time period, the pot just keeps building. So it's not like that R goes away. That R actually stays in the pot, and somebody wins, say, several months down the road, or hell, several weeks, whatever. They win that entire pot that's in there. So pretty cool stuff.
Very nice.
We were determining whether or not we should actually have the timer count blocks instead of having an off-chain timer, and we decided to go with an off-chain timer because it's really funky trying to have it with an on-chain timer because you're counting blocks instead of actual time. And as we all know, blocks can be variable. It could be, if it's a 1 minute block time like Pirate, it could be 40 seconds, it could be 2 minutes. It just depends on when the blocks get minted, things like that. So by doing it that way, you can't actually have a set time frame. So you can't be like Saturdays at 9 p.m. is when the lottery draws. It's just like Saturdays at around 9 p.m. And then maybe, a year down the road, it's like Saturdays at 3 p.m. or Sundays at midnight. Who knows? So by having an off-chain timer like that, you can have guaranteed time frames, but everything else is obviously on-chain. All the mechanics, all of the what is it called, the random number generator, things like that, all that is on chain, so it's all verifiable, all that fun stuff.
Cool.
The other update that I have is War is going to be put on Ethereum as well. So for those of you who are on Ethereum, you'll be able to utilize War as well. It'll be built into the gateway, so not only can you have your War from converting War from actual Pirate to War on BSC, you can also convert it to Ethereum, whether it be from the R chain to Ethereum or from War on BSC over to War on Ethereum.
Is
So
this
you
a
can
method for
convert it all
people
different
on?
ways.
Is this a method of people on Ethereum to be able to get out, anonymously?
Exactly.
Beautiful.
So it'll work identically to how it is on BSC in terms of staking liquidity, getting rewarded for it. But the idea is we're going to be putting it on Balancer so that you get additional rewards and things like that for staking liquidity, all that fun jazz. So
Nice. I don't know anything about DeFi, but it sounds cool.
it's DeFi that's worthwhile. It's none of that. What I call it wealth redistribution projects from a while back when they had all those farming and all that other crap that was going on. Basically,
Yeah.
where you were the first one to get in, you made all your money back plus a ton more, and then you got out when other people started getting in. So basically, all they were pyramid schemes, realistically. So it's nothing like that, obviously. Because war, the way it works off transaction fees, and if you stake liquidity, then you actually get a portion of the transaction fees and things like that. So the money comes from somewhere, not thin air. So, and everything, as always, is 1-to-1. Whatever amount of war is in the gateway or gets converted is 1-to-1 with what's actually held in the gateway. So there's no worries about anything being a whatchamacallit. I can never remember the term, but basically having more on one side than the other.
Unbalanced.
There's another term for it. I can never remember it. It has to do with the supply. It's a whatever.
Flip.
After the meeting, I'll probably remember it. Then like, shit, I forgot. Yeah. So. But aside from that, the physical coin that the silver coin that I'm still trying to design, I'm still have a freaking artistic block on that crap. I mean, being sick didn't help either. So for those of you who do have an artistic nature, it'd be fantastic if you submit some of your ideas, things like that, so we can actually, as a community, build, the design for the silver coin, because I really do want to get one made, and I know a ton of people that do as well. So
There's a nice girl. Her name is Queen Victoria. She's been doing some good work for me lately.
oh, cool.
Yeah, hit her up.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is anything that gets submitted, I'll put different options on there with the various artwork, and then I'll also have the community vote on what they think is the best, and then we'll go from there in terms of getting it produced and whatnot. So,
How about we do a public contest? Who designs the best coin?
yeah, we can do that, and then the winner can get a free silver coin.
Yep, there you go. All done. See, when we put our heads together, what we could do.
Magic happens.
That's right. Yeah, and we got plenty of peeps in here. Lots of talent.
Well, absolutely. There's a ton of people that we have that have a lot of artistic ability. That was proven with the flag competition that we had back in the day. There's some really good options with that stuff.
I'm always amazed at this community. I told you it's the best community I've ever been to, and I ain't leaving ever.
Exactly.
Physically, I might leave to a different location, but I'll always be here.
The last thing I wanted to bring up, actually, I do see that we have a few people here. Hey, Mulroy, do you want to talk about the hardware wallet at all? I think he's trying to speak. I just saw him unmute and unmute himself. If your mic doesn't work, man, you can just type in chat and then I'll read it out. So, in the meantime, Quartermaster, any updates with Barter?
Any updates? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Well, nothing spectacular. We're just trying to make it functionally better. Been some a few upgrades on things like picture functionality and stuff like that. Yeah, we've had a pretty good response so far. It's sort of building momentum, more ads coming up there. Getting lots of support from pirates in terms of advertising on Twitter. The guys who do the daily what's it called?
The daily dose of pirate chain.
Yeah, the daily dose. They've been pushing it, and everybody's out there. That's what we need, really. We just need, what it is with marketing is repetition. So we just need to keep pounding and ask everybody to just advertise as much as they can. And I'm halfway through doing the escrow website now. That's getting developed. I had a meeting with the guys today, and that's coming along. So hopefully that'll be something, another string to the bow in a few weeks. But yeah, it's going great.
Very nice. My father, when I had mentioned advertising and marketing to him, he always told me the same thing. My bread is so fucking good, I never need to do that because people know where the quality is. Quality, people always find quality, right? So as I'm driving down the streets in my neighborhood, I see people with rims on their lawn for sale and furniture for sale, and people are just throwing stuff on their lawn to put on sale. I guess everybody needs money today. So they're selling this stuff. I see a lot of garage sales, and barter could be the alternative to that, guys. Once you learn how to sell your junk online, one man's garbage is another man's gold, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, basically that's what it is. It's it's a great vehicle. It's like a yard sale to get rid of shit you don't want and exchange it for ARRR. And the beauty of that is, if you're selling shit in your yard for dollars and you put it in the bank for a rainy day, it's going to be worth pennies. And if you're selling shit for ARRR and putting that away for a rainy day, it's going to be worth, well, what we all think it's going to be worth in terms of fiat, but even more so in terms of survival.
Right. But none of this is ever to be taken as financial advice, guys. This is not financial advice. All I ever say is, we're still early. Everything is early. Even the Splinterlands, the guests we're going to have on today, everything is early. And, when I say early, I mean, when I saw the cards for sale 2 years ago, when I was having a beer with the guy that showed me, Matt, he was showing me, but I wasn't taking it that seriously, and I wish I did. And it's still early, guys. It's still early to take a lot of these technologies a little more seriously. And when I say technology, look at the technology. The technology is what moves forward. All the old technologies, they get left behind all the time. I've been here 12 years. So I've seen so many coins come and go. It's disgusting. And hey, look, I've made my mistakes. We've all invested in our mistakes. I've lost tons and tons of money. But we're still here. We're still striving, and just make sure you follow the code. The code is the most important. Yeah. Any other updates, Trade? I love silver coins, by the way. Silver is my favorite.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. There's no other updates, but there's a couple questions in chat that I'm going to respond to. So, Orangutan, there is a reason for using barter rather than the others. With barter, you can guarantee that everyone's using Pirate Chain as a form of payment. Whereas if you use anything else, it's just a crapshoot. You may get lucky with at least Bitcoin on Craigslist or other stuff like that, but this marketplace is built specifically for Pirate Chain. So you can be guaranteed that the forms of payment at bare minimum is in Pirate Chain.
Yeah, not only that, Drake. The other idea behind it is to build a local network, because when the shit does hit the fan, in terms of fiat, whether it's central bank digital currency that they lock you out of, you're going to need a network of people using ARRR. So that's another huge part of it.
Absolutely. Now, another thing that I saw that Cax actually said, and sorry to say this, Cax, but you're wrong. Cax said, since ETH is going to POS, I think the TX fees will reduce and become the same fees as BSC network. That's actually false, unfortunately. Ethereum actually came out and said that their fees won't be affected by switching over to POS, which is pretty standard of Ethereum. So don't expect any fee reductions to be in the near future, unfortunately.
I got a fee reduction for you. Stop using it. Oh.
Yeah, use Pirate Chain.
All right, guys.
But for those of you who, the way that I see it, honestly, is that even though the fees are high on Ethereum, what's your privacy worth to you? You know what I mean? Is your privacy worth just a few cents, or is it worth a hell of a lot more than that? If it's worth a hell of a lot more than that to you, then it's absolutely worth converting your assets on Ethereum to War and then converting it to Pirate Chain. Because then all of a sudden your assets disappear and nobody's the wiser.
Hey, sometimes some people like voyeurism, bro.
All right, any other questions, comments, anything before we shift over to Loots and I think Matt, right? Matt's going to be speaking after you.
No. Matt's going to come at the end
Yep,
because we need time for our new guest.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. After your guest.
Yep. I think he's trying to talk. He's like,
well, kind of. Hey guys, I'm at Animal Kingdom right now, so if you want me to just step in for like 5 minutes of TA, that might work a little better for me if our guest isn't here yet, or if they got a few minutes.
All right, I kind of want to get the guest on as soon as possible, bro.
Yeah, do it then. Do it.
All right, brother.
There's another question from Captain Rory Bellows. What's up with Pirate Poker? It's still in the funding phase. There's a significant amount of capital that we need to raise to do it right, including getting it on the proper network, because it's not going to be on any transparent network. It's going to be on a privacy network. This way, everything is completely hidden. So what's yours is yours. Nobody else.
I got an idea. Why don't you take it from the auditing funds?
I mean, we could, but that's up to the team and the community, really, because the community was the one that donated to that. I don't want to take any funds from a specific fund without the community's input. So
I'm joking, but maybe it's an idea. You know, maybe take a vote.
No, it's actually whether you're joking or not, it's actually a solid idea. I completely agree with you that that's a very viable option that we could use, because realistically, I mean, we all know how we both feel about that audit. So,
you know what?
I think those funds could be used for a lot better stuff.
After the last show, even more so now, man. Fuck those people.
Yeah. So that being said, maybe we can have some sort of vote and have the community provide input on the usage of those funds and see if we can use them for Pirate Poker. Because if we can, and if it's enough, then absolutely we'll put that towards it, and then we'll get that thing built, and it's gonna be pretty damn awesome.
Sweet. Yep, poker, man. Gambling's illegal in New York. Apparently, you can't gamble in your house with your friends. You know, but the government they can sell you as many fucking lotto tickets as you want.
Well, here's the funny thing about that, right? You can play poker in your household with your friends, but the moment that there's a rake, it becomes gambling and it's illegal. Yeah.
They can suck my dick.
So if you wanted to take a rake in your own home to provide chips and things like that, just as like, hey, you guys, there's going to be a rake so that we can have food, provided to everybody. Yep, that's illegal. But if you don't have a rake and people just pay you for the food, that's not illegal.
Yeah,
that's illegal, literally the law.
Yeah, the law don't like competition. That's what it is. Government don't like competition. They could gamble all they want and sell and abuse people. They literally abuse people with these lotto tickets. Have you seen people they go broke. They spend everything on it. Some people, because they got that addiction, and they don't mind. They don't mind. They just keep selling it to them, man. And who stops them? But you know why they don't stop? Because they take that money and they go pay the police and all those other things that are unfortunately oppressing us. And that's what
the
it
funny
is.
thing is, in my state, it's hilarious because they brought the lotto into the state, I think, over a decade ago. But the original intent, as it was written, was it's going to help education. It's going to help fund education. So when the law got passed and the lotto was finally able to go on, what do you think happened? Sure, that money does go towards education, but they also at the same time slashed the budget for education and supplemented it with the lottery. It's like, so no extra money is actually going towards education because they cut the budget. It's like, what the hell?
Do as I say, not as I do. That's their motto.
Oh, one last thing before I go. Mulroy said, "Hi, sorry, my phone's mic seems to play up. The communication through the M4 coprocessor was keeping me back a long time. That's mostly working. I'm focusing on transferring the transaction data to the unit. It's about 300 bytes or 3,000 bytes. The M4 processes about 100 bytes at a time. Registration functions are working. The address function works as well. I'm pushing to finish the user interface to be able to do a demo. I'd like to see if it's polished enough to present to Crypto Vigilante Hardware Wallet Symposium on 23rd of September. The newest hardware is in transit with DHL. Updates are to ease the production."
All right, whatever.
I think there's
after
everything is working. Well, one sec. After everything is working, there's some work to do to get the production facility up to speed. Most important part is to lock down the programmer so as to not be able to steal the code off it. Cool. Appreciate it, Mulroy.
Sounds like progress.
All right, I'll go ahead and turn this over to Lutz, and appreciate everyone listening to the monthly updates.
All right, brother. Love you, man. Nice job, and really nice job with End Life. And we're gonna have to talk about getting my car in there eventually.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Chatter, you're up, my man. You're up.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Welcome to the Pirate Chain community, a community of pirates that believe in privacy, not your standard Splinterlands, niche.
No, for sure. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome, man. So I met Matt a couple of years ago. We did an event together, me and him. And he afterwards we went for a beer, and he was showing us how to play. I wish I took him more seriously. I went home and I forgot all about it, and then about maybe 2 weeks ago, I found the card he gave me. It had the Lord of the dragon with the chains, which is apparently cost
whatever.
$2 million fucking card. I looked at it, I was like, holy shit. Lord of Darkness. So I started playing, and I started getting involved, and I started noticing that it's a pretty badass game. The idea behind it is that kids could play and actually get paid to play, which is really awesome. On top of the fact that everything's done on a chain, and it gives it the power of blockchain, immutable and all that. So how did you get involved with Splinterlands? Tell us about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Splinterlands has been around for about 4 years now, just over. I've been with the company for a year myself. My background was in kind of digital marketing on the kind of professional side of things, but kind of professional gaming on the other side of things. So I used to play professional Counter-Strike, and then eventually switched over to kind of League of Legends. And long story short, one of my previous mentors who I worked with years ago ended up coming in as one of the advisors for Splinterlands, and just kind of through that, everything lined up really well, and been with the company ever since.
Nice. And this is a very official project, guys. It's not really like a very pirate, but we invite everybody here, chatter. We had a DeFi project a couple weeks ago, and it's all about education, right? We want to teach people as to why these things exist. So you got involved. Did you come from a background of gaming before that?
Yeah, so background in gaming, I dabbled in crypto before, had made a lot of money, and then also simultaneously lost a lot of money on kind of Bitcoin and just trying to trade and kind of finance a lot of stablecoin there. That was kind of my first take was got in when Bitcoin was a couple $100 and then ended up selling at kind of the 16 grand mark, which was great, but then obviously sold way too early. So there was good gain and good loss there, but good learning experience nonetheless. But it's been pretty awesome seeing kind of how crypto and Web3 can translate into the game space and just how much is really possible and how capable we are of using blockchain technology to really kind of push gaming to the next limits here.
So what would you say putting a game on a blockchain does for that game? What are the protons of it?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing comes down to ownership. And I mean, similar to most kind of core concepts that you'll see relevant in Web3, it's taking that and putting it into a gaming space. So the way that I like to describe Splinterlands to people is kind of what Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering is, meets more of like a Hearthstone where it's in a digital space, it's a digital trading card game. But the really cool thing, unlike games like League of Legends or all the other ones that I used to play that I still have part of my heart for, is those assets, once you buy them, they're locked to your account. You're never able to sell them unless you can go through like eBay or whatever else, but that's already frowned upon from the games. With Splinterlands, when you buy cards off the market, you can also rent them too, which is a cool concept we'll get to in a second. But when you essentially own cards on Splinterlands, those are yours. You can buy them, you can sell them, you can rent them, you can do whatever you want with them, which is a cool concept in itself. When we're actually talking about card packs and everything else, when we do card releases, everything's at a set mint. So we don't re-release, we don't do anything like that. Once packs are sold out and everything, like that's it. That's that card done. So there's always a nice deflationary system acting upon anything that we do, whether it's kind of cards itself or whether it's anything like token related in our environment, so on and so forth there. And then if you're wanting to level up the cards itself, you actually have to combine them together. So let's say if you're wanting to max out a card, and by maxing out, they get more abilities, they get more stats. And what that means is you get to play at a higher level and earn more crypto for every single game that you actually win with those cards. But
right, let me jump in real quick. So guys, when he says combine the cards, I know it's a little confusing, but when you play, you'll start understanding. So it's like collecting baseball cards, but online, and you actually own them. I guess it's kind of like an NFT thing. So, but not only that, you could actually use your baseball cards to play baseball, right? And you could use, Don Mattingly or, Babe Ruth, the very powerful cards, to beat the other team if you had those cards. And it reminds me of back in the day, but not really baseball cards. I used to collect Marvel cards, right? So and I have those for my son still. I have the whole set. And they don't make any more. And even the same concept with the packs, right, Chatter? There's only a certain amount of packs. So if you still got like a pack from 1970, a Fleer, or an old Fleer pack, that pack is worth a lot of money because you don't know what's in that pack.
Yeah, exactly. And even like the packs themselves are NFTs. We've created a market in the game itself, so you don't have to use third parties. You don't need an OpenSea. You don't need anything else. You can actually sell it directly in the game. What's really cool is we have third-party partners. Peak Monsters is a company that comes straight to mind, and they've also built these markets that you can like buy and sell in bulk and do everything else. And so the fact that we've even just kind of built this community where we're seeing a new tool get created every single month by one of our community members that just kind of helps the efficiency and gameplay and everything is pretty sweet to see. But going back to the combining of cards too. When you want to combine cards to give them better stats and abilities and kind of play into those higher leagues, what happens is you actually burn them together. So for a max level common card, let's say, you'll be combining 399 cards to hit a max one. So you're essentially burning 399 out of those ecosystem forever. They're never going to be able to be achieved or bought or
They're
anything
more
ever.
rare. They're more
Exactly.
rare. They become more valuable.
Yeah, so it's really cool. I mean, with the latest pack release that we did, there was about 15 million packs released. Of those 15 million packs, if you give it a year or two down the road, there's going to be 75 million cards that come out of those 15 million packs. I would bet that there's probably only a couple 100,000 to maybe 1 million of them left in the next year or two, just because of burning them together, like selling them, whatever else happens. And it's pretty cool. I mean, again, everything that we do in the market and the economy for Splinterlands, it's all deflationary, and everything's kind of built with the community and the user in mind.
Right. So like for me, I got a few cards, and I think of it more like I kind of honestly I got bored with the gameplay a little bit after a week. It's like a constant winning and losing, right? But I see it more like a collectible. Like I wanted to get some cards for my son, right? And and what's really cool about it is that those cards just don't sit in a closet, collecting dust. You can actually rent them out, and who knows at what point, maybe your son opens it 10 years later and the rentals are still renting, and it's been accumulating ever since. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's spot on. So I'm making like double digits every single day right now. I rent out my deck pretty much every day for any of the cards I'm not using. And the cool thing is like as you open all these packs, you're gonna get tens of different copies of the same card kind of thing. So I level it up to the level that I want it to play with, and then all the other spares I get, I just rent those out. And so it's like whether it's beer money for the end of the week or whatever else it is, gas money, like that's all just my passive income, which is great. And I mean, like getting into the game for people kind of trying to figure out how to get in, it's super, super easy. It's all kind of frictionless onboarding, which is the term that we've tried to coin ourselves. But what happens is it's just a simple PayPal. Like you can do it in fiat or you can use crypto to essentially buy your wallet. And then what happens is we'll actually create the Hive blockchain wallet for you. So you're getting your Hive wallet set up. We're built on Hive as the layer 2 is the game. Hive's our layer 1. And then everything else, like your wallet's built into the game. You can collect all of your NFTs in the actual game itself. The market's in the game. You never have to leave or even know the ins and outs of crypto to really be able to start collecting, start playing, start earning within the game.
Yeah. So I've been playing, right? And it's when I one favor I ask you. When the little box comes up and it says to sell or to rent, can you flip those tabs around? Because when I'm drunk, I don't realize I'm selling instead of renting. When you're trying to rent out, your cards,
No, I know
you may
exactly
not
what you're
notice.
talking about.
You
Yeah,
may not notice that you're selling them.
No, I'm in the same boat too. We've I've made that mistake once and I accidentally sold one of my cards. It's definitely been brought up with the team, so hopefully we can get a little quality of life change in for that one for sure.
So guys, when you combine your cards, you make your cards more powerful by adding 2 or 3 together, or 4, or some even 400s. There's various levels of cards, right? So you got your if you wanted to compare it back to Marvel cards back in the day, you got your hologram gold foil cards, right? And then you got your common cards, and that's exactly the way it operates here. Now, when I first got in the game, Chad, I was confused with the method of purchasing the cards, right? Because I saw so many different options. I saw credit, I saw DEC, and I saw SLS, right? And I'm like, wow. I mean, it was very. And then you had to convert, and there was a lot of converting going on. And eventually, I got it, right? But I think that's a bit of a barrier, for people who just don't understand what we understand, right? Do you guys see yourself, simplifying that process a bit more in the future?
Yeah, so we actually already did. I know exactly what you're talking about. When I first started in the company, pretty much 12 months ago, it was kind of you had to go off a altcoin exchange to get your SPS, which is our governance token, or DEC, which is our kind of in-game cryptocurrency that you can use to buy or rent cards with. But you'd have to take it from your altcoin exchange, send it to your wallet, from your wallet back into the game. Like it was a whole huge slog fest of a process to actually do it. But we partnered with both TerraBlock and Transact now, so you can actually buy SPS or DEC right off our website with a credit card, or you can buy credits themselves, which act as a kind of account-bound non-crypto token. And you can use those to also be able to buy packs or cards or anything else. And that's just with PayPal. So you can actually do all fiat on-ramping. You don't need to even know how to move crypto in and out of an account to be able to get started. And then if you wanted to buy with fiat, either SPS or DEC, it's literally a 5-minute process. It'll get sent directly into your account. And again, there's a actual wallet in the game when you create your account. And so all your crypto is just going to get held there, and you can really send that out at any time. That's always liquid right when it gets in.
Is there any way of getting SPS KYC free for us pirates? Because you know how we operate, bro.
Yeah, I hear you. I would say probably from an altcoin, if you have it, the KYC process is pretty light for Splinterlands itself. For kind of PayPal, it's really just kind of a quick name and everything. We don't store anyone's records, whatnot, though. So as far as kind of privacy or anything goes, we're not collecting any information on people from that side of things.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So those the cards. I had a thought the other day. So you guys had this big announcement, Rift Watchers, right? Coming out this week or next week?
Yeah, next week. That's right. It's going to be our newest card pack.
So the last packs were called Chaos, right? And there's been a few before that. It had about, what was it, 15 million packs or something like that.
Yeah, so the last release was 15 million card packs for Chaos Legion. This one's going to be more of a mini set. I say mini, but it's going to be 3 million packs that are going to get released, 3 or 5 million. Mine's going blank right now, but a couple million packs that are going to go. The pre-sale itself is going to be starting next week. I think it's going to be probably on Thursday that we're looking to kick things off, but that's still going to be a tentative date. As that kind of launches, though, that'll be 500,000 packs that will be going on pre-sale. So for those who want to get in early, people can use SPS and vouchers, which is a token that you can get on either Hive Engine, which is kind of a sister website that we've built. That you can swap your SPS into like wrapped SPS and kind of purchase the vouchers with, or you can either stake it in our game itself. And by staking, you're actually earning, I think that's like a just under 40% APR right now. And it's literally a one-click button, similar to kind of storing your money anywhere else. You're just making additional on it. There's no way of losing it. It's a 25% kind of SPS back per week unstaking process. So the entire thing takes 4 weeks to unstake, but risk-free. You only make additional crypto over it. And it's really a thank you for us for actually putting your money and staking it into our game.
Nice. So you got these new card packs coming out. Now every card has its variables, right? It's got, say one card has 10 health, another card has an attack power of 3, right? So in these new cards coming out, will these cards be similar to the older cards, and will that dilute the value of the older cards if people start replacing their decks with newer decks and such?
Nope. So every card that it'll be the same process of the old cards, where you'll have either like a melee, a ranged, a major, kind of as far as the monsters go, or we also have summoners too. And so kind of, I guess, how the game works top level is each game's about 3 minutes. As you launch into the game itself, you pick a summoner. That summoner will give a buff to all of your monsters, whether it's kind of +1 HP or speed or attack, whatever else it is. And then you can pick up to 7 monster cards. And that's all going to be dictated by a mana cap, which is going to be random, anywhere from 12 mana to 99 mana every single game. And then every game is going to have its own kind of conditions as well, or rule sets. So you're always getting kind of a fresh rule set. You're always getting fresh content. You always have that kind of new mana cap for every game. And then every card has a mana itself. So some cards are 0 or 1 mana. Some cards go all the way up to like 12 mana to play.
Right.
And then you just have to build a deck within the kind of mana limit. Once you press go, you're automatically kind of sent against an opponent who's a real player playing on the other side of the screen somewhere else in the world. And then you guys fight it out. It's an auto battler. So once you guys have actually submitted your teams, it's already kind of pre-decided who's won. All that's cast onto the blockchain. So all of your like history of games and everything are actually on the blockchain, which is super cool. And then if you want to watch it out, you can watch the game play out, or you can even just skip it. And then the winner of each one of those said games are actually going to earn SPS as reward for winning the game.
It's a very addictive game, guys. So, if you go in, try not to go in with 2 feet right away.
Yeah, I mean that's why the rental market is really cool.
I have a little over 3,000 battles now.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean for those who are wanting to dip their toes into, like you can rent a full deck for anywhere between kind of 50 cents US to a couple dollars a day, depending on kind of how good you want those cards to be and how high level you're playing up until in terms of ranks. So you can get in and test the game out for literally $1 a day, and then see if you want to really get in and dive in with those 2 feet. But
it reminds me of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
The mechanics of the game. It's like you need a healer, you need a tank up front, you need the warriors, in the back. Depending on the battle, you need to think about what you need. Right? It's strategy. There's a lot of strategy involved.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to think of that strategy within those 3 minutes, which that means you need to be acute in the mind. So don't play the game drunk. You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
So you, on top of the cards, there's these things called licenses. Actually, let's get back to the gameplay. During my research, I noticed so many, these bots, right? A lot of these ways showing people how to set up bots to autoplay. I mean, is there a benefit to that? And what are the caveats? I personally, I enjoy playing the game, so I really don't care if a bot does it for me. I wouldn't want any vulnerability as well on my system that someone else created and not approved, right? Because every plugin you add to your browser is another vulnerability, guys. Remember, many hacks in the past have come through browser plugins.
Yeah, exactly. And for us, we're pretty bot neutral is kind of the stance that we take on it. So we're not pro bot, we're not kind of anti bot, but what we do is we make sure that with gameplay itself, bots aren't going to have any inherent advantage over an actual player. And then on top of that too, just the due to the nature of bots where they're kind of just trying to cycle through a lot of the same cards from account to account. Like there's timers and cooldowns on cards. So you can't just go from one account, win your money, send them to the next account and keep doing the same thing over and over again. So what we've done is over time, bots have gotten kind of less and less strong as far as revenue generators go, as far as like kind of extracting value from the game. And then I think the updates are going to continue to probably limit bots quite a bit in the future. So it's not going to hinder gameplay. I think there's definitely a steeper learning curve in the lower levels that we still need to sort out. And that's because bots are mainly playing in those lower levels. So new players have a potential disadvantage just as far as kind of experience goes. But we're looking to kind of navigate that right now, which is we're not going to be pairing people who have thousands and thousands of games against someone who's maybe 10 games into their kind of Splinterlands career. So all of it's being done. Yeah, and I mean, the cool thing with what we do, though, is we're a super agile team. So as we do any of our releases, we're the first to admit that we're definitely not going to be perfect. But with how everything goes, we're able to make changes within days. And it's not, hey, we're going to roll this out and then weeks later, you're going to see a change. Like if there's an inherent flaw in what we're doing or any of our systems, that's going to be changed or rolled back or rolled out kind of within the next day or the next 2 days. So we're always making sure to monitor community updates and everything. And what eventually that's actually led to with the past 2 weeks is we've just launched governance voting. So people who are staking SPS, which is our governance token on the platform itself, they're able to now vote on updates for the game itself. So we're getting to this point where players are going to really dictate how the game changes going forward, and we're just going to help steer the ship. Like they're going to tell us where to go, and we're just going to make sure that we get there in the end of the day. Obviously, we're going to have some caveats where people can't just say, hey, go and implode the entire ecosystem if I own like a huge majority of SPS. But that all being said, it's been a pretty cool system. I think we've done 3 different votes now, and all of them have passed with flying colors. And it's just, hey, we're going to propose a whole bunch of different updates, and you can stake your SPS to say yes or no, we want these updates. And most of the updates themselves are actually coming from community feedback in our Discord too. So it's whole kind of cycle that feeds itself.
And SPS is actually the main coin, right? There's dark energy crystals and then there's SPS. Could you explain the two?
Yeah, absolutely. So SPS is our governance token. That's going to be used in any of the actual governance voting itself. When we do any of like the smaller releases like Rift Watchers, which is coming out next week, that will be purchasable in SPS. And then it's also kind of interacting with validator nodes and will be with both the current and the new staking system, where currently you're staking your SPS just directly to the system and you're getting APR back based on that. In the future, what's going to happen is you're actually going to be staking your SPS on another player in the game, whether that's yourself or like someone else who's like a pro player in the ecosystem there. And you're actually going to start earning SPS based on their performance or your performance in the game, which is, again, a pretty revolutionary system as far as kind of any of the governance voting, staking, whatever else goes. And then you have dark energy crystals on the other side of things. And dark energy crystals is really kind of our in-game cryptocurrency. So you can use those to buy card packs. You can use them to rent from the market. You can use them to level up buildings in your like guild halls. So you can actually create these guilds with all of your friends and invite up to 30 members. And as you level up your buildings, there are things like if you level up your lodge, let's say, you're going to earn more and more crypto from each win that you get from your ranked games, up to 20% additional earnings from every single one of the games you play.
Right, and your rentals as well. You get paid in. Actually, lately I've been getting SPS for the rentals.
A lot of stuff is turning over to SPS for a lot of the market there, and that's because we're trying to peg dark energy crystals to the price of packs. So really, dark energy crystals in the next kind of couple months here is going to turn into a stable coin for us, which is going to be really awesome to have a very controlled currency in the market. And again, that's just going to be tied to the price of kind of whatever pack is out on the market.
Oh,
and
very
what
cool, very cool.
1,000 DEC equals $1.
So there's these other ways of earning as well, not just playing and holding cards. I noticed that you have these licenses. What are those about?
Yeah, so we have validator nodes that we've just introduced to the system. And by buying a node license with SPS, what you can actually do is one, passively earn. There's actually two different pools. There's 90% of all the earning pool, which is I think 3.75 million SPS per month given out to node license holders. That's just going to go to everyone who's passively holding a node license in their account. And then there's 10% that's going to act on a delegated proof of stake system, which that means is you essentially are staking SPS to vote in validators, and they're going to help kind of validate transactions and everything as stuff goes through on the Hive blockchain. But with all that said, they're going to make the additional kind of 10% of that pool.
What's to stop like a big company from coming in and just buying up all the nodes?
I mean, there's nothing to necessarily stop it. There's SPS itself is going to be limited in terms of how much is on the market and liquid for them to come up and buy. But as far as the nodes go, having a big company that's just holding node licenses isn't going to inherently kind of break anything in the system, which is okay. The only thing that could potentially harm it is like big dumps or anything like that. The investor side of things, we haven't really leaned into too heavily outside of our first round that we did. So we did an initial kind of 3.6 million seed round, and this was about 2 years ago, I think, that when we did it. But the investor airdrops and all the investor kind of related perks of SPS, that's all ended. So any big whale or anyone that's getting into the ecosystem right now, they're acting just as any other player would, which is, I think, a very level playing field, makes it kind of very easy for the market to really start regulating cleanly. And that's, I'm pretty proud of kind of the point to where we got it right now. But on top of that, kind of the nodes and everything else too, there's so many different ways to earn. Like you can play games, you can own those validator node licenses and actually become a node operator yourself. All the software to actually start running those nodes is going to be dropping next week as well. So you can start earning next week with those licenses that went on sale, I think, a month ago. And then we also have like liquidity pools and everything else in the game too.
Right, I seen that. I haven't played with that yet. I'm not really big on the finance stuff. I did notice also there's these plots and lands like for sale. Like, do those earn revenue? What do you do with those?
Yeah, so land right now, those were contributing to a whole kind of airdrop cycle that ended, I think, 2 months ago. But that's going to be really what's needed to be able to participate in our land expansion update, and that's going to be hopefully end of this year. So November, December is kind of what I'm hoping that the team hits as far as deliverables go for that. We have pretty hectic release schedule, and if you ever want to check out the roadmap, it's just docs.splinterlands.com/roadmap. I'll leave it in the chat here at the end of this. But as land expansion releases, you're going to be able to essentially use that land and stake cards on it and everything to farm more NFTs. So you can farm kind of totems, which will help your production and everything. You're going to be able to actually like farm other NFTs. You're going to be able to earn from it. There's going to be a lot of systems, but it's going to be like a pseudo game within a game when land expansion comes out there.
It feels like this is transforming into a World of Warcraft. Like eventually, can you envision each character actually playing like in World of War? Like I could grab a card, right, and I could start using it, as my character in the game.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where we'd love to get, where you really have one account and you take it and you're just gonna use that account across every single game in the ecosystem. I'm not going to go too heavy in it. This is a conversation for another time, but we've actually just announced that we're doing a spin-off game called Splinterlands Tower Defense. The name's kind of TBD right now, so it's still kind of tentative. But within that, you're going to be able to essentially stake your Splinterlands cards in the Splinterlands Tower Defense game, and that's going to power up your turrets and everything else. And we've also actually just announced last month a new kind of line of games in the sporting side of things called Genesis League Sports. So very first one's going to be Genesis League Soccer. We've partnered with Major League Soccer as far as that side of things go. But eventually what's going to happen is within the whole Genesis League ecosystem as well is that one login for your account is going to branch across every single one of the games. And then it's going to be the same token across each one of the games, similar to Splinterlands and the Tower Defense game. But everything's going to really evolve around this huge ecosystem. So as we build more and more games in the kind of line of publishing, whether it be on the Splinterlands side of things or whether it be on the Genesis League side of things, it's all going to be this one cohesive environment, and it's going to be revolutionary when everything drops. I'll leave it at that.
The investors who actually just look at the investment side of things and not the game would probably appreciate the fact that this Splinterlands is partnered up with correct me if I'm wrong, the NBA and the soccer leagues and these big institutional gaming. I don't know, NFL, right? So with that, do you envision like soccer games coming out and football games and all those old games that we used to play, all those old basketball games like NBA Jam, right? Like, do you envision that being on the chain at some point? Because they also, partnered with them back in the day.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're going. So Genesis League Soccer, that's the first one with Major League Soccer there. That one's going to actually be coming out in early 2023, but the pack sale for it's going to be launched in October of this year, so in about a month's time. That's going to be the first line of games in the Genesis League collection, but we're also going to be looking to partner, as you said, with the NBA, with MLB, with NHL, with like everything else. And then down the road, you're going to have a different game for each one of the different sports, but you're going to be able to essentially stake your cards throughout the different games. Hopefully, you'll be able to take your tokens throughout every single one of those games and whatever else there.
Nice. Now the artwork on the cards itself are really nice. So those who does the art for Splinterlands?
Yeah, huge kudos to the the creative team. So we are a team of about 160 people right now. Creative makes up a kind of big chunk of that too. So Nate, who's our director, VP creative right now, he's done a fantastic job kind of leading that team. But we have motion animators, we have kind of 2D graphic designers, we have 3D graphic designers, we have like literally anything creative wise, you name it, as far as titles go. And there's something kind of slotted in on the team, and a very talented individual kind of behind all the artwork that we pump out there.
I'm trying to collect all the pirate cards, Two Gun Pete, Ghost Captain. We got there's Pirate Captain. There's a lot of cool pirate cards. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I'd even think about that. There are quite a few though in the game for sure.
I'm trying to get them all.
That's awesome.
How do I get a Legend Loots card in there, man? How do we get me in there? as a
Yeah,
card.
maybe soon. Maybe soon.
So these cards really do remind me of collecting cards as a child when I was young, and it really brings me. I actually whipped out my Marvel cards just to look at them again. But I hope to I hope this pays for my son's school tuition, whichever school he decides to go. Hopefully the School of Hard Knocks, and it's a good investment, I think, guys. It's the first of its kind. I've seen a few other off spins back in the day. I think there was EOS Knights and some cards that these games never really made it. But this is the one I see this actually going places, and I wish I listened to Matt back in the day when he gave me those those cards physically. How is Matt doing anyway? I haven't heard from him.
Yeah, he's doing great. I've been on a few meetings with him today so far, but he's he's doing really well. It was kid's first day of school yesterday, so I think he's getting all excited about that.
We did an event together in Philly back when I started in Pirate, and oh man, I think it was hard for him to explain how this game works and such, and you could understand. I could understand now. I mean, people still probably don't understand what we're talking about. That's why we shouldn't get into the thick of it. But if you guys just take a minute and try to learn it, it's got a little bit of a learning curve to it, like World of Warcraft. You gotta really be a researcher. You gotta be an inquisitive mind, and you gotta like gaming, I guess. I always liked gaming. I played lots of games when I was a kid. I haven't played much recently, but this is kind of cool to play while you're watching a movie or something.
For sure.
So
It's super easy to play too. I mean, like, as far as kind of gameplay goes, just think about kind of a Hearthstone or Pokemon. Like, it plays very similar to that as far as the deck building. But the really nice thing is, kind of like you said, if you're watching a movie or whatever else, the second that you actually press play, it auto battles for you, so you don't have to do all the grunt work behind it.
The only ones I watch now are the ones I lose, so I could try to learn from why I lost.
Yeah, no, I did the exact same thing.
So we went into properties. What else was there? I wanted to ask you about this game. It was I had so many questions made for you, and then my power went out, and like a noob, I had it on a notepad, and I lost them all. So I wanted to send those to you beforehand, but then I was like, you know what? Let's just keep it simple, because unless you play the game, you really won't understand what we're talking about. Till you get involved. And guys, we have a guild. Tell us about guilds. And guys, we have a guild, Pirates of Tortuga. So Pirate Chain has a guild. If you like to play, jump in, request to play in your pirate guild, and let's kick some of these people's asses.
I love it. Yeah, I'll probably see you against. We have a Splinterlands team guild as well, but guilds are really cool. It's a system that you can, again, as I said, bring your friends into. There's a few different buildings that you actually level up by completing like daily quests, which are just kind of conditions of, oh, hey, go win with the fire splinter or the earth splinter. And what that means is like similar to what you would see in kind of Pokemon cards. You have your electric Pokemon or you have your fire Pokemon, whatever else. For Splinterlands, there's splinters. So there's kind of different classes or different races that you will all kind of field different types of cards. And so as you complete your daily quest, you'll level up certain buildings. As you kind of contribute dark energy crystals, you level up buildings, so on and so forth. And what these will do is either the ranked earnings, you'll get bonuses for brawls, which are kind of guild versus guild battles. So kind of twice a week, you'll be tossed into what we call a guild brawl, and then you enter a fray. So every single person gets to enter kind of one of, I think, up to like 14 different frays for the brawl there. And then you essentially battle against other people in other guilds, and whichever kind of guild comes out with the most wins at the end of the day is the winner. And you get merits depending on kind of where you place. And with those merits, you can then spend them on like special items for guild brawls. You can get Gladius cases, which are these super special account lock cards that you can use in brawls and everything else. But it's just a really fun system. I'm a little bit biased, but would definitely encourage you guys to get kind of into the game. It's free to sign up. It's free to kind of start playing. And then if you really want to start getting into it, earning, staking, whatever else, it's literally a $10 payment, like PayPal payment to earn your wallet and everything else there. But again, you can get started for free. Would definitely advise you to check it out.
So Pirates of Tortuga, just played their first brawl last week, and we got we got these things called crowns, right? We got like 3 crowns. We did pretty okay actually.
Good.
So with these crowns, what are these crowns that I got? It's just like a build up to build our guild up more.
Yeah, so you got crowns and merits. Crowns are given to the actual guild itself, and then the leaders of the guild can kind of choose which buildings they want to spend them on. So there's 2 different guild buildings, similar to everything I was just talking about there, where you can spend those to level it up. And then merits themselves are at the player level. So players who participate in brawls will get those merits, which again are non-cryptocurrency, but just account lock stuff. And you can spend those on things like the Gladius packs, which are 5 account lock cards that will be super strong in all the brawls and like way stronger than all the other cards. But that's the whole premise of them, is like you really have to kind of work to achieve a lot of those things as far as brawls go. But also, as you kind of play in the brawls, we're actually introducing SPS earnings from them. So previously, it was more of like a fun thing to do with your friends and level up those buildings so you can earn more outside in like the solo rank battles. But now you're actually going to start earning SPS as you battle in each one of those brawls.
Nice. Yeah, we're having actually fun. We're recruiting at the moment. So anybody that wants to play, you don't need any money to play. Like he said, for a couple dollars, you could rent all the hot cards and and play with those. It's not a necessity to have to buy cards, guys. I only purchase the cards for my child, for the future. But jump in and let's play. And you know what? There might even be bounties in Pirate. When we do brawls, so that we could compete. So I'll give my guild a little extra incentive for the play. The pay to play, or the what's it called? Pay and play.
Yeah, play and earn.
Yeah, play and earn. So those really good competitors that like playing, jump in, start playing. It's not a difficult game to get used to. It takes you can probably learn it in one night. So going forward, I think, is there any advice you could give people who are starting out, getting involved in, that want to play right now? How did they, because it was a big jumble when I got in. I was like, oh, what's this Hive Mind? I've never used, or Hive Engine. What's this Hive Engine thing? And what's this Splinter Tools? And what's this there were so many tools. And then I learned about the keychain thing, and that made everything so much easier.
Yeah, so the keychain is definitely the one thing I will shout out. I know we are just very anti-extension here, but I promise this one's okay. It's called the Hive keychain. It's just an extension that you can put into Brave or like Google Chrome or anything. And that will essentially just be a one-click signing solution for any transactions on the blockchain itself. So any like card purchases, rentals, so on and so forth, you literally just click a button and it'll just do the rest for you. But as far as anything else goes, I mean, really, as far as like getting started, make a free account, play a few games. You get some soulbound cards, is what we call them, which are just like free account bound cards that you can use to really get started and start learning. And then once you kind of get the flow of it, once you get the hang of it, get into the rental market. You don't need to go and spend $200 to get started. It's literally like 50 cents. You can rent a nice deck and you start playing up your way in like bronze and silver leagues and everything. But I mean, otherwise, our Discord is a fantastic place to learn. We're just under 180,000 people in the Discord, all amazing community members there. If you have any questions at all, like our tavern chat, anything like that, if you just pop in there and ask a question, you'll get an answer within a minute or two, I guarantee it.
Yep. And they helped me big time when I started too. So that's where I went. I was like, what's going on here? I had no idea. I felt like a fish out of water. So yeah, but you'll get it. You'll understand it after you play a few rounds, and then it'll be normal gameplay after that. So guys, chatter, it's so we hit the time limit here. Love you, man. Thank you for coming on today. if there's anything you want to leave our community with, you know, to keep in mind that these are pirates. You know, they're not very, you know, KYC people. But if you want to leave them with anything, you know, let them, any information, any more information you want to throw out there before we end this?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as getting started goes, no KYC or anything required there. I'm not sure if there's any way to get in like 100% non KYC, but I'm sure if you ask our community, they have a way of actually getting tokens in and everything. But otherwise, just thanks so much for having me. Thanks for your community for kind of embracing us for 30, 40 minutes here. And also shout out to Kite the Gate in the chat here. He's one of our Splinterlands Mavericks. He's one of our big players, and I noticed him kind of lurking about in this Discord here, so I appreciate that.
All right, yeah. Well, we get, look, everybody's a pirate here, but you know, there are people who like the KYC stuff and are okay with it. And you know, I try to respect that as a pirate. I do. You know, until they push it on me, right? That's a different story.
Yeah,
but you know, both worlds still exist, and you know, we're eventually, you know, maybe one day, you know, you guys will become pirates, and you know, maybe you'll build this game in a pirate fashion, and it'll be a lot more involving for people who you know, who like anonymity, you know, because that's the problem with KYC stuff and all, you know, all that going through PayPal and all that. You know, these pirates don't like to do that. There's a whole niche of community that don't like to do that. And you know, eventually, I think they will find ways around it, though. As you heard in the monthly updates, now we're going to have a wrapped Ethereum, right? So, you know, with all those wrapped coins, we have a wrapped Binance Pirate already. So, you know, eventually, I'm sure they'll find a way to make it work so that they won't have to go through those you know, those KYC methods.
Definitely. I mean, and SPS too, we're on the Binance Smart Chain for our governance token. We also have a bridge to ETH. So, I mean, there's definitely, just knowing that you guys are getting wrapped ETH, like there's going to be a way around where you can get in without KYCing, I bet. We'll just have to figure out kind of what that process is.
And for that matter, you could get out KYC free, which is important for a lot of people, right? So if in 5 years your cards are worth like $5,000 each, and you're like, holy crap, how the hell do I take this out? You know, eventually, it'll be a nice off ramp into pirate. And you know, do you know much about privacy coins, Shannon?
Yeah, I've been looking into it since we started talking. I don't think I'm like the most knowledgeable person in the world, but I've kind of dabbled now for the past couple of days.
So we believe in financial privacy, right? So you know, what you do in the business shouldn't be taken home to your family, right? It's what you do at home is none of anybody's business. So that's kind of the idea of it. You know, financial privacy is everyone's right. And you know, if on Pirate, the way Pirate works is if you know you want to do something, say you buy something privately, you know, and you don't, no one needs to know about it, you could do that with Pirate. You know, and if you wanted to pay your taxes and such, you could still do that with Pirate. But the differences between all the chains and Pirate is that when you do it, you know, they have to come and ask you for it, right? Unlike today, where they just take it from your paycheck or they just take it from you no matter what, right? With Pirate, they have to ask you for it. And what Pirate does with this anonymity feature on the chain, privacy at the protocol level, you know, they have to cut. It gives you leverage. It gives you that leverage you've never had before. So, for example, you know, if you had a pothole in front of your house that the government hasn't fixed in years, you know, and they're still taking your tax money, you know, you finally got a little power. You finally are able to say, hey, you know, I'm not going to give it to you until you fix the pothole, right? It gives you that leverage without them having to take it by default. And I think the world would be a better place if there was consent, right? So, you know, if you want to take my money, you need to explain to me, right? Somebody needs to show up at my door and explain to me what I'm paying for, right? So, and maybe even sell it to me, right? And if somebody told me, hey, you know, this tax money is going to go to help the poor, right? And it's going to go to help feed the needy children, or it's going to build a shelter, or you know, something good in the world. You know, I don't think anybody would have a problem paying for it. You know, because you never know. You die, and you know, it might be your child one day that needs help. right? So, we try to focus on the good of it, and of course there will always be malicious actors in this world. Can't help that. That happens in cash as well. So you can't help that. And trying to control everything is not really the pirate way. We're not trying to control everything. Not everything needs to be underneath the vice script, right? And we need to allow that freedom for the economy to expand with good, right? With the good side of things, because I do believe there are good people in this world. And if you give them the freedom to expand and be good, they will do good in this world. But unfortunately, those same laws that stop those supposed bad people are stopping the good people. And that's the whole idea behind Pirate, is that we need a way to build these Egyptian pyramids. The pyramids that said that can never be built with the tools that were, right? But they did it anyway, right? And how did they do it? It's because human beings are amazing people. People are amazing. I believe that if you give people the freedom to get out there and do what they love, instead of locking them into a room, behind a desk, working for Joe Schmo corporation, where they're probably not really happy, and they would excel more. Humans would excel more if they did what they love, and that's just my personal belief, Chatter. Not there's a vision here, and we that's what I try to do. That's why I go to these events with Matt and where I went then, and I still do these events all over. And I try to get people to understand, financial privacy is very important. There's no reason for people to know what your wife bought last night, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the whole idea of it. There's two sides, right? There's two sides of it. It is nice to hold corporations responsible for what they do. So I do feel that a transparent coin, like Bitcoin, or any of the other 99% of them out there, because there's only two privacy coins. There's only Monero and Pirate out there, both with different engines for redundancy. So we have that option. But I do believe that corporations can be held responsible through transparency coins, right? So everything they spend, no more underneath the table deals. And keep in mind, I worked for a Fortune 30 company in New York City, and there's a lot of shady shit that happens, bro. So holding these transparent chains have their place in this world. And transparency has its place.
Yeah, and I mean the sentiment's super similar to us too. Like for us, it was kind of peace, prosperity, and freedom was really the grounding sentiment for our founders in creating Splinterlands. And we're not 100% kind of at that point of decentralization or anonymity and everything else there. But again, transparency, as you said, like that's really key to what we do. We're holding AMAs every single Monday, kind of throughout the day, to make sure that we're answering community questions, to make sure we're staying transparent with what we do. And of course, just being on the chain itself helps obviously a lot with that too. But yeah, no, couldn't agree with the sentiment more.
The value of what you guys created is the architecture, I believe, right? So being you're the first of your kind to build something like this that actually works on a chain, and it's going forward. It could be the roadmap. It could be the blueprint, right? Like the Splinterlands could be the blueprint for so much better going forward. So the architecture and the tech is the the more important, guys. That's what you should be looking at. I've played a lot of games on chain. None of them as successful in like after you get past the bronze stage, if you play it, you'll notice you're going to start playing real people at some point. And that's when your strategy really comes into play, right? You have to really understand your strategies. So congratulations, Chatter, and tell Matt I say congratulations. He made it. We both started off shilling at these events, trying to get people to understand our concepts. And I wish I took it more seriously back then, but I am taking it seriously now. I've got decks from my child already, like I did with his baseball cards and his Marvel cards. You know, so this is the first of its kind. It's a virtual baseball card, guys. An animated one that actually, you know, has that you could, that doesn't just sit there on your in a chest collecting dust. You could actually rent them out, and by the time your son is 20 years old, it could have been rented 1 billion times by then, and you could have a nice accumulation for him, you know, by that time, right? So that sounds right, right?
Yep, exactly. As you said earlier, it's never too late, guys.
All right, man. Love you, man. Thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate you. And you know, if you ever want to jump back in here, or you know, you want to talk to the pirates about something new, I'm always here for you. You know, you could always we do this meeting every week, Chatter. I just try to bring new education to my pirates all the time.
Awesome. Love to hear it. And yeah, thanks so much for having me on and for everyone tuning in. Appreciate it, guys.
Stay strong, brother. Love what you're doing. R. Let me get an R out of you. R.
Love it.
All right. Later, brother.
All right, later, man.
All right, guys. That's one of the greatest games in blockchain so far. You know, I have been monitoring the game space a lot. Like I said, I played EOS Nights, and that was a shit chain. Unfortunately, it died like a week later. You know, there's a lot of games that have tried to do what they've done, but without the success. And they really, I mean, they're bringing on all these big NFL people, and you know, it's amazing. I mean, the society has really embraced playing games on the. It looks like the pinnacle. This is like the start of where games are going to start being played on chain now, with this idea of play to earn, where kids could actually be gamers again and earn while they play. You know, I think there was a Sylvester Stallone movie back in the day, right? Where was it Sylvester? It's an old movie, old gaming movie. You know, with this idea that kids could play and be like and make money doing it, right? Which never really came to fruition, but now it can come to fruition. You know, whether it's KYC or not, you know, keep in mind that in the future, these games could be rebuilt again. You know, like I said, it's the infrastructure here that's the gold of it all. You know, that's the crux of what they have here is an infrastructure of how something would work on chain, and you could see it working now. It's actually working. There's actually I don't know the number. I forgot to ask, but there's probably hundreds of thousands of players already in this game, and that's success to me. That's really, you know, utility. Remember, guys, the value has an equation, and the equation is utility plus warranty equals value, right? So warranty means that you got people like Chatter, you know, giving people support, and a huge community that supports people in the gameplay and how things work. That's warranty, and warranty also, you know, how long do you think it'll be around? Well, you know, it looks like it's going to be around a while, especially with all these partnerships they're making, all these new games they're coming out with. You know, and not just games, they seem to be adding on to the Splinterlands game. So it's not really diluting the game space. It looks like it's adding on to their Splinterlands platform. And on top of the fact that utilizing the similar coin, you know, broadly, you know, if you think about it, on all these other platforms, you know, what would that do for the coin price itself? So I'll let you guys marinate on that one, as I have. You know, I do see things many people don't. You know me. I'm not a big lover of KYC. You've heard me fight people before. Only if they press it on me. But you know, there like I said, you know, there are places in this world for transparency. You know, and you know, this might be one of them. This might be one of them. I don't see why, you know, a regular game like this should even be private. I mean, it could be that. I guess that would be a plus, but it doesn't need to be. You know, there's things in life that need to be private, like your finances, right? That's a need. You know, everyone has the so-called right to privacy, even though nobody has it anymore. But now, this, if you were, maybe if you're playing poker, right, something like that, you might need financial, you might want some privacy, because you're going to get attacked. Excuse me. You're going to get attacked. So, love you guys. Thank you for showing up today. We're going to end it here. It was really a great show, and I had a great time. And look into those updates Drake spoke about earlier. The silver coins are coming. I'm excited for that. And I love you all. This is Lutz signing out.
Did you know that financial privacy today is freedom tomorrow? Ahoy and welcome to Pirate Chain. Utilizing revolutionary cutting-edge technology that is pioneered and mastered for financial privacy, cryptography, where storing, sending, and receiving your money securely and anonymously isn't just optional, it's set by default. Go to pirate.black now and take control of your financial freedom. Download the full node encrypted wallet under Treasure Chest for ARRR using Mac, Windows, or Linux. Also available on Android under Skull Island and coming soon to an iOS wallet near you. ARRR.